Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video of the F1 22 Driver Career Mode with Williams, episode number 15 today for the Dutch Grand Prix of Season 1. If you missed the previous episode of Belgium, uploaded yesterday, I recommend going and check that out, and of course subscribing new to the channel to see plenty more F1 22 Driver Career Mode videos. But yes, coming into this one then, looking at R and D, you know, we've got 1,700 resource points to play. We've got a major drag reduction upgrade available. DRS is finally made available. That's pretty much it. Sashi's side, you know, I think Sashi and Aero are two worst bits. Obviously, we're very good on the engine because it's the Mercedes engine, even and the Mercedes engine in the game. And you can see there we're actually the fourth best engine on the grid. So we don't really need to look at engine. We've got plenty of stuff to look at ERS. We're going to go for a major drag reduction, weight reduction upgrade as well. Unfortunately for us, AlphaTauri have upgraded. That midfield, McLaren have started to break away from Alpine, Alfa Romeo and Haas there. And you know, the top three are getting closer and closer and closer together. You know, if you see the gaps earlier in the season from Ferrari to Red Bull to Mercedes, and now look at them, they've all closed up. Any one of those three teams could be looking to win races. Even McLaren are on the way, and that's pre-patch as well, so we'll see what they are next week in pre-patch as George Russell goes straight on at the carousel, comes back on. That's in practice, so you know, sadly nothing we could do with something like that in the race to call something like a safety car, because this track isn't great. It's not a great track for me, to be honest, and it's not a great track for overtaking either. So, you know, just try and do something. And this is pre-patch, so the fact that we're 20th before the new handling model and the new update that makes the AI even more OP, it's just beggars belief that, you know, we're stuck in last place and we're not looking like we're going to get out of last place. Are actually slightly down on our best time, losing time on the exit of turn 1 as we come through now towards the carousel. Tighter exit here, yes, that's more like it. Gaining a 10.5 there at the carousel, almost a 2/10 as we go through this horrible section. As well, up to turn 5.5 tenths faster than Hamilton down there. I don't know what the Mercedes are doing down there, but then through this middle sector. This is the worst sequence of corners on the game, apart from Miami, as well. And then we come through into this left-hander, and we're already out the other side through a DRS zone. It's a very short lap here at Zandvoort, as well. Notice they've done a little bit of updating to the curve. I don't think the curves were yellow and orange last year, so they've definitely upgraded them. We're almost half a second faster than our previous best time. I don't want to get too much on that outer curve, and hold the inside of the bounty and let the colour to flow through up to the line, and it's a 1:13, and a 1:13 around Zandvoort is enough for P20, an absolute stone dead last. So yes, Leclerc ahead of Verstappen. I wonder, imagine the scenes later this year if that's at Zandvoort, if it is Leclerc ahead of Verstappen. Albon beats the two AlphaTauris. Despite the AlphaTauris being upgrades, they're still out-qualified by both Albon and the Aston Martins. So yes, on last year's game we managed to win from last on the grid, but that was thanks to some nice weather. I don't think we'll be doing that today. Time for the race.
Welcome along then to the North Sea coast and to the Zandvoort circuit, 25 miles away from Amsterdam, for today's Dutch Grand Prix. It's a race the great Jim Clark won on 4 occasions, leading for an astonishing total of 370 laps. Zandvoort circuit then, 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left, with plenty of steep camber and elevation changes to keep our drivers on their toes throughout the 2.6 mile lap. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who will start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Hamilton, Lando Norris, and Bottas, Ricciardo, Russell, Sainz, and Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Magnussen, Guan Yu Zhou and Mick Schumacher, Vettel, Stroll, Alex Albon and Pierre Gasly, Tsunoda and Phoenix. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. I'm joined again today by none other than Natalie Pinkham. Tell me, Natalie, obviously there's a lot of development work that goes on with these cars between Grand Prix. You know a lot about how test drivers and race drivers go about their business. So how do these roles differ in your eyes?
Interesting question. There are 2 very different mindsets. In the old days, of course, they used to cover up to 15,000 kilometres of testing in a season. And that role would be more about working for the team, trying to help them improve the car and drive as systematically as possible so that the data could be analysed in the most consistent way. When lining up on the grid for a race, however, a race driver's frame of mind is all about what they can get out of the situation on that day, and the car is the tool to help them achieve those goals.
So we are down the grid. It's overcast, certainly no rain. I haven't had a wet race so far on this year's game. Race strategy is going to be a one-stop. I get soft to medium. Doesn't look soft to medium's the preferred one, excuse me. Medium to soft, not faster. So that's the one we'll go with. That's 5 red lights in for the Dutch Grand Prix, and after a bit of a hold, away we go. It's an okay start. We're going to get the better launch than Tsunoda. It's not a great start actually, because we should have been looking at. We're going to absolutely send it down the inside of both Aston Martins, Gasly and Albon there, and gain a load of positions. One of the Aston Martins comes back. We're going to switch to the outside of the carousel. Can we make my textbook move around the outside there? No, because there is Schumacher with his OP traction. So we've got one car there, but we probably, if the AI weren't OP on their traction, we would have had 2 there. But Schumacher just accelerates out of there, and there we go. Zhou is behind us now. I'm going to dive out the inside of Schumacher. He decides to close the door, and then gives me this, just jumps out of the way. A little bit of corner cut there, I'm not going to lie, but we have made the position. We need to must around here, because overtaking isn't that great. This is not a good track for racing, even with the new cars. It's Sergio Perez. So it's the wrong Red Bull for the Dutch fans, but Sergio Perez has jumped Leclerc, and he is leading the race ahead of Leclerc and Verstappen. That's bad for Verstappen in his chances for the World Championship. Oh my goodness grief, we've almost bottled it on that curb. You see, that curb has got a middle edge, which is causing his issues, and there's contact with Schumacher. Is that going to be my fault? We're right on board with Schumacher then in the second DRS zone. He's got DRS. Yeah, a little bit too many moves from me there, but hold my hand up to that. But Schumacher needs to be aware of that. But yes, let me know what you think in the comments below. But so we come in for our pit stop then. Optimal turning, which is good news. Can we get the 2.2? Now it's a 2.5 second stop. As well, there's none of those mighty 1.9 second stops anymore. That's something that can happen in real life. Although I haven't had it this year, I don't think, as well. So 2.2 isn't good as at the front. Then it's a Red Bull 1-2 now. I'm not sure what happens to Leclerc, as Norris is going right round the outside of Hamilton. There's Leclerc in the background, or behind Hamilton. As well, Hamilton on the hard tyres. So look, Norris is up to P3 as we've gone wide that corner. Not that corner again. It's the corner as well as we get. It just it doesn't want to keep. It's got a serrated edge. So yeah, it's just the understeer. The setup I've got isn't working for me. It's a 1-2-3. 1-2 for Red Bull, but Perez is way out in front, and Hamilton surely has an issue, because look at the train that's formed behind him. It's just as bad as the one that is for the rest of the field there. As Zhou has a go at us now. You can see there that Ocon and Magnussen way in front, and now Leclerc is starting to make moves on Hamilton. I'm sure it's only a matter of time before he catches Norris and gets that podium. Hamilton going backwards, it's only a matter of time on those hard tyres before Ricciardo and Bottas and the co overtake him. So we're off circuit. We need to be careful there. That curb is. I'm trying to find lap time, but it's just not working for us at that corner. I'm trying to push to try and see if we can push away from Zhou, basically, and cut our losses. But this setup just doesn't allow me to do that. The following lap,